Good evening to you. As fires continue to burn across Kentucky, several different counties have issued burn bans.
WKYT First Alert meteorologist Alexa Minton spoke with the U.S. Forest Service out of Winchester today about what Kentuckians should do to lower the chance of another one starting. That's our top story at 5:30.
Since November 3rd, fires have been burning across eastern and southern portions of the state, now encompassing over 26,000 acres of land and increasing by more than 3,000 acres in the past 24 hours. While firefighters have been called in from other states for assistance, officials are encouraging folks to do their part to stop the spreading of fires.
Fire restrictions help land managers evaluate conditions, and they reduce the risk of wildfires during extreme droughts and drought conditions.
There is a statewide burn restriction in effect for fall forest fire season, meaning burning within 150 feet of any woodland or brushland is only allowed in the evening hours between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. However, further restrictions are initiated at the local level through county burn bans and local ordinances. County burn bans are issued by the county judge executive and restrict burning even further than what is required at the state level.
I would just be mindful any fire that's out there right now, whether it's your stove, campfire, or if you're smoking, or if you have chains that are dragging behind you. The national forest and surrounding areas are ripe for fire conditions.
Intentionally setting a fire is a felony under state law and is punishable by up to 5 years in prison or up to $10,000 in fines. With 99% of all forest fires in the state being caused by humans, officials say it's imperative that folks restrict their burning to help the firefighting efforts.
We want to reduce those risks because we want to reduce the hazards and take care of the forest and the forest users.
For WKYT, I'm First Alert meteorologist Alexa Minton.
Now, Governor Beshear declared a state of emergency for the forest fires back on November 9th. 21 counties in total are under local burn bans. There are only 16 active fires right now in the state, and that is down from 55 that were reported at one point last week.